Welcome to Hong Kong Brief. The content of the briefing includes: U.S. envoy warns Hong Kong is moving to China-style internet curbs. Hong Kong budget blueprint, China's Durian King, 7 highlights of the week. Hong Kong Club Eastern preparing for mainland China leap, after Arsenal advice. Prada rides luxury boom while mass retailers struggle as Chinese demand flags. 30,000 yuan in duty-free? Hong Kong CPPCC members want new cap for mainland visitors. U.S. envoy warns Hong Kong is moving to China-style internet curbs. Bloomberg. The U.S. Consul General in Hong Kong, Gregory May, has expressed concerns about growing internet censorship in the city, warning that it could undermine Hong Kong's appeal as a global finance hub. May highlighted connectivity issues and data security concerns as reasons why some American companies are resorting to using burner phones and laptops when visiting Hong Kong. The city's government has faced criticism for blocking access to certain websites and censoring content, with fears that the tight controls of mainland China could spill over into Hong Kong. Hong Kong budget blueprint, China's Durian King, 7 highlights of the week. South China Morning Post. This article highlights 7 top stories from the past week, including Hong Kong's decision to remove all restrictions on property transactions, a Philippine lawmaker's call for an investigation into Singapore's deal with Taylor Swift, and China's decision to set up a floating barrier in the disputed Scarborough Shoal. The article also discusses the growing competition to be China's Durian King, the resignation of former Chinese Foreign Minister Qin Gang, a young Chinese makeup artist's success on social media, and a travel writer's experience on an overnight train in China. Hong Kong Club Eastern preparing for mainland China leap, after Arsenal advice. South China Morning Post. Hong Kong Premier League side Eastern are establishing a sister team in the Chinese Super League's 4th tier, the Guangdong Super League, in a bid to develop local talent and increase commercial success. The team, Shunned Eastern, will be based at the Shunned Football Association's training base and will also operate a youth academy. Eastern hope that the link-up will help to address the financial imbalance between income and expenditure, as well as help to develop youth football in the Greater Bay Area of China. Prada rides luxury boom while mass retailers struggle as Chinese demand flags. Bloomberg. Prada is expected to report strong earnings, driven by growth in the Asia-Pacific region, particularly Japan. The luxury brand is defying a slowdown in the luxury sector as Chinese shoppers hold back and growth slows in other key markets. In contrast, JD.com, China's largest online retailer, is expected to post its slowest annual revenue growth since at least 2015 due to macroeconomic headwinds in China. JD.com has responded to Alibaba's price cuts in cloud computing services with its own aggressive price reductions, which will erode profits at China's leading technology companies. Prada's growth over the next decade is expected to be driven by its brand strength and rising global incomes. 30,000 yuan in duty-free? Hong Kong CPPCC members want new cap for mainland visitors. South China Morning Post. Representatives of Hong Kong want to raise the limit of duty-free shopping for mainland Chinese visitors from the current 5,000 yuan, $4,165, to 30,000 yuan. The current limit has been in place for nearly 30 years, and a higher limit would help boost tourism and increase Hong Kong's attractiveness to mainland Chinese shoppers. The city's tourism sector has struggled since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, with visitor numbers and spending significantly lower than pre-pandemic levels. The joint proposal is set to be put forward by most of Hong Kong's representatives in Beijing next week. Tesla offers China incentives to boost sales as EV growth slows. Bloomberg. Tesla is offering incentives in China to boost sales amid increased competition from local rivals. Customers who order certain models by the end of March can receive an insurance subsidy of up to 8,000 Chinese yuan, $1,030, as well as preferential financing plans and discounts on optional paint colors. Although not an official price cut, The insurance subsidy will effectively reduce the starting prices of the Model 3 and Model Y. Tesla's move comes after it lowered the starting prices of these models in January, prompting price cuts from local competitor BYD. Sales of new energy vehicles in China declined 30% in January from the previous month. Luxury house linked to Evergrande's Hui put on sale in Hong Kong. Bloomberg. A luxury mansion owned by China Evergrande Group's founder, Hui Ka-yen, has been put up for sale in Hong Kong. The property, located in the prestigious Peak area, is one of a pair of properties seized by a creditor last year. The three-story house features 4,933 square feet of space, including a private garden and internal elevator. Hui Ka-yen had 3 houses in the Blackslink development, all of which are now under receivership. Hong Kong's luxury property market has been struggling in recent years, but brokers expect transactions to rebound following the removal of property curbs by the government. JP Morgan picks HSBC, Stanchart to run $500 billion custody business in Hong Kong, Taiwan. The Globe and Mail. JP Morgan Chase has chosen HSBC and Standard Chartered to operate its custody businesses in Hong Kong and Taiwan. The two banks will take over the local custodian services for JP Morgan, which has decided to outsource these operations due to rising costs and declining assets. The financial details of the deal were not disclosed. JP Morgan aims to complete the transition to HSBC and Standard Chartered by the end of this year. Evergrande chairman's second seized Hong Kong mansion put up for sale. The Globe and Mail. Another mansion belonging to China Evergrande Group's chairman, Hui Ka-yen, has been put up for sale by its receivers. Evergrande, the world's most indebted property developer, was liquidated by a Hong Kong court in January. Hui's personal assets are not expected to be included in the liquidation process. The mansion, located in Hong Kong's Peak residential development, is valued at 500 million Hong Kong dollars, $63.9 million, and is equipped with a private garden and an internal elevator. Other assets of Evergrande in Hong Kong have already been seized or sold. Japan's population crisis was years in the making, and relief may be decades away. CNN. Japan's declining birth rate and shrinking population are causing concern for the government and experts, with the number of births falling for an 8th consecutive year in 2023, reaching a record low. The country's fertility rate has been below the necessary rate of 2.1 for 50 years, and now stands at 1.3. This means that even if fertility rates were to increase, the number of births would continue to decline, as the pool of women of childbearing age is already small and shrinking. The reasons for Japan's low fertility rate include a high cost of living, a stagnant economy, limited space, and a demanding work culture. Furthermore, people are getting married later in life, or not getting married at all. For women, other factors include the expectation of taking on the caregiver role, despite efforts by the government to get husbands more involved. Other East Asian countries, including China and South Korea, are experiencing similar problems, with marriage rates plummeting and population declines predicted. Japan's future may involve a massive mechanization of society, as human labor is replaced by machines. Additionally, immigration on a previously unseen scale may be considered, although this is controversial given Japan's conservative nature. Japan may need 4 times as many foreign workers by 2040 to achieve the government's economic goals, and authorities have been creating new visa categories and considering proposals to allow certain types of skilled workers to stay indefinitely. A stock trader's guide on what to watch at China Party Congress. Bloomberg. China's annual meeting of the National People's Congress, where the ruling Communist Party makes economic and policy announcements, is set to start next week. Investors will be watching for trading cues from policy priorities and signals about fiscal stimulus. Key areas of focus will include fiscal stimulus, efforts to bolster the real estate sector or consumer demand, and regulatory treatment of companies or sectors. The meeting comes as China's stock market shows signs of bottoming out after years of declines. Who is Bonnie Chan, first woman CEO of Hong Kong stock exchange operator HKEX? South China Morning Post. Bonnie Chan Yiding has become the first woman to be appointed CEO of Hong Kong Exchanges and Clearing, HKEX, and the first internally promoted CEO of Hong Kong Stock Exchange. Chan, who was previously co-chief operating officer, succeeds Nicholas Agusin, who chose not to renew his contract. Chan has a law degree from the University of Hong Kong and a master's degree in law from Harvard, and she began her career as a lawyer in 1993. After joining HKEX in 2007, Chan introduced reforms to enhance the listing regime and played a key role in digitizing the exchange. In her new role, Chan aims to roll out measures to reboot stock market turnover and new listings. Alibaba triggers price war in cloud computing with steep cuts. Bloomberg. JD.com has responded to Alibaba's price cuts in cloud computing services with its own sharp reductions. Alibaba slashed prices by up to 55% on over 100 services in a bid to win back customers in the competitive market. JD.com, a rival in e-commerce and cloud services, responded with its own round of price cuts on the same day. Alibaba had initially planned to spin off its cloud business into an independent, publicly traded unit but called off the split last year. The move by Alibaba is seen as a bid to fend off competition from Tencent, Baidu, and JD.com. The Monaco royals whose deals have brought peril to the palace doors. Bloomberg. Prince Albert II of Monaco is at the center of a corruption investigation regarding state contracts awarded to his nephews, Andrea and Pierre Casiraghi. An investigation by Bloomberg Businessweek has revealed that the government of Monaco has regularly favored the Casiraghis for at least 15 years. In 2009, the brothers' company began work on state contracts worth more than $60 million. The prince himself is accused of intervening in a lawsuit to allow the Casiraghis to build a luxury apartment building near the Casino de Monte Carlo, and a government official is accused of helping the brothers prepare their bid to take over Monaco's exclusive helicopter service. Both Prince Albert and the Casiraghis deny any wrongdoing. The investigation is the latest in a series of crises that have shaken Albert's rule over Monaco. The country is currently awaiting 2 reports from international watchdogs investigating its regulation of money laundering and internal corruption. Last year, European inspectors warned that Monaco could be placed on the grey list of countries with lax financial crime controls, alongside Syria and Haiti. The country has also been hit by the Les Dossiers du Rocher scandal, in which hackers released documents purporting to show financial impropriety by members of Albert's inner circle. Hong Kong's West Kowloon Arts Hub funding crisis threatens to halt event deals. South China Morning Post. The West Kowloon Cultural District Authority in Hong Kong will have to halt commitments for future events from June if the government does not resolve its funding crisis by then, its chairman has told the South China Morning Post. Henry Tang Ing-yen said that the authority's cash resources would dry up by June next year, but contracts for new exhibitions and projects had to be signed a year in advance. The authority is waiting for a government decision on a proposed funding plan that involves selling part of the arts district's 40 hectares. Well, my dear viewers, what a week it has been. From concerns over internet censorship to the booming luxury market, there's been no shortage of news in Hong Kong and China. Let's dive right in and take a closer look at some of these stories. First up, we have the U.S. Consul General in Hong Kong warning about growing internet censorship in the city. Now, I don't know about you, but I find it quite amusing that a country known for its strict control over the internet is worried about its influence spilling over into Hong Kong. It's like the pot calling the kettle black. But in all seriousness, this could have serious implications for Hong Kong's appeal as a global finance hub. Let's hope the government takes these concerns seriously and finds a way to strike a balance between security and freedom. Moving on, we have the Hong Kong Budget Blueprint, which includes the removal of all restrictions on property transactions. Now, this is big news for the real estate market in Hong Kong. It's like a floodgate being opened, and we can expect to see a flurry of activity in the coming months. But let's not forget that with great power comes great responsibility. The government needs to ensure that this move doesn't lead to an unsustainable housing market and further exacerbate the wealth gap in the city. Next, we have Prada riding the luxury boom while mass retailers struggle. Now, this shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone. When times get tough, people still want to treat themselves, and what better way to do that than with a luxury brand like Prada? It's like a little slice of indulgence in an otherwise dreary world. But let's not forget that not everyone can afford a Prada bag or a pair of Prada shoes. The government needs to ensure that there is a balance between supporting the luxury market and providing opportunities for mass retailers to thrive. And finally, we have Japan's population crisis. Now, this is a serious issue that requires serious attention. With the declining birth rate and shrinking population, Japan is facing an uphill battle. But perhaps they can take a page out of their own book and embrace technology. After all, if they can create robots that can do almost anything, maybe they can find a way to solve their population crisis. And who knows, maybe one day we'll all be living in a world where humans are the minority and robots rule the roost. So, my dear viewers, what are your thoughts on these stories? Do you think internet censorship in Hong Kong is a cause for concern? Are you excited about the booming luxury market? And what do you think Japan should do to solve its population crisis? I can't wait to hear your thoughts and engage in some lively discussion. Remember, the more voices we have, the better we can understand the world around us. So, don't be shy, speak up and let your opinions be heard. That's all for today, folks. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the fascinating world of news. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.